Hey Flosstube, it's Rebecca with the Route 66 Stitcher. I was reminded that I haven't put out one of these videos in a while, so it's been about 4 months. Thought I'd check back in and show you what I've been up to. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you for your support. I greatly appreciate it. If you've been here before, you know that I'm recording from someplace else today. I am actually in my dining room because they're doing construction in my backyard, so I can't be out on the patio area as it's pretty noisy. My new-ish cat, is very interested with this whole process, so you might see him wander through. You might also hear me tell him that he needs to make good choices if he wants to continue to be on this earth. So this is going to be fun. I have no new fully finished objects. I do have some finished stitching and some whips, actually a surprising number of whips for me, and a retreat update and some haul. Actually the haul's really a lot of haul for me as well, but most of it is from retreat purchases. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? For my finished pieces, I do have, I'm gonna figure out how to get through this pile. This is not the new cat. This is the old cat. Fiona, you need to get out of the way, thank you. Yeah, no. This is, no, they don't need to see your backside. This is the Charles Darwin quote that I recently finished on 56 count cream. I did this with, this is going to be challenging. I did this with a DMC variegated thread. There's nothing special about it. I really enjoyed stitching on the 56 count when I was in the mood to do so. It really did take some concentration beyond normal for me, and I certainly would not be stitching on a 56 count in a dark color. I've already made that decision. So that is completed. I'll put the name of the designer, of course, everything down below as well. So that is done. Next up is The Raven by Primitive Hare. This was a whip that I was working on in the last video. And it is finished. It is finished on a 40 count XjuDesigns fabric called Early Halloween. And it's using the called for DMCs. Oops. And so it came together and finished up pretty well. That's about where it needs to be. That's the color. I also finished another Primitive Hare pattern that you saw the last time that was a whip. And it was a freebie that she put out on her Instagram, Isabella put out on her Instagram a few years ago, and it's called Don't Piss Off the Fairies. And I made a kind of a summary one. It would also do really well as a fall piece. And that's about the right color right there. So that one's done as well. This became a start and a finish, and this is Tropic Troop by Plum Street Samplery. It's the 3-pack of animals with the flamingos. And this is on 40 count Picture This Plus Pearl, using all the called for. And it came out pretty good. I don't know if you can tell by looking at this, maybe that gives you kind of a better idea. This piece of fabric is horrific. I bought it at Quilter Station. It's Picture This Plus fabric. At Quilter Station, they have all of their fabric already cut in plastic bags. So I just grabbed it. I didn't open it and look at it. And when I got it home and started working with it, it is full of picks and snags and an ungodly number of slubs. It's really something that never should have made it through their quality assurance process. It was quite disappointing. But nevertheless, I persevered, and there is Tropic Troop. I've also finished Into the Woods by the Blue Flower. Last time you saw it, I was down in here. I'd started up here and I just started to work around in a circle. So all of this is new. And this is on 40 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. It's using mostly called for and some stash conversions that look fine on the fabric. And so that one is completed at this point. That was me choosing poorly. And then I know there's some of you out there in the Ozark Stitchers group that have seen this already, and thank you for all your help during my vacillation on what colors to outline the great cranes in, but I have finally finished Take Wing by, actually that's going to have to go this way, Mojo Stitches. This is on 46 count Mellowstone by Atomic Ranch, using mostly called for and then some conversions that were in my stash. And those cranes I outlined in a darker gray brown color so they could actually be seen, but there we are. That's Take Wing, Mojo Stitches. Next up, you saw this is a whip the last time, and this is Rocky Mountain Santas. This is Teton Santa. I'd shown you a finish of a Rocky Mountain Santa, which was Pike's Peak last time. It had a big eagle over here, and this is the companion piece to that. This is Teton Santa, and it is completed. It's completed. And this is a Christmas present, so I really do need to focus on getting that fully finished. So that's Rocky Mountain Santa. I'm going to go ahead. Both of these have been gifts for people, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch those again for myself because I really like them. And I have continued to work on the Mill Hill Advent Trilogy. This is set 2. And lo and behold, I have another box. Woohoo! I have 5 boxes now out of the 9. It's exciting. Yeah, I've not made great progress on this. So that was the first of the whips, was that Mill Hill kit, and it's barely a whip. I basically just have one more box. Next up for the whips, I have my Squamish Frog from Alaska. This is Todd Jason Baker art. And this is being stitched on 40 count Avocado by Fiber and a Whim. And I have moved around the side to put in one of the eyes, and he has nostrils now. So I've made a little bit of progress on this. This is slow going. There's only 4 colors total in the entire pattern, so it's not exciting to stitch, if that makes any sense. There's really not, you're just stitching the same color over and over and over again. So that is moving forward slowly but surely. Also on the whip pile, I have Rollo de Ren. Rollo de Ren, which is Rollo the Reindeer by Long Dog Samplers, is stitched on 40 count Midnight Tryst by Fabrics by Stephanie. Last time you saw it, it was just the dog in the bottom, and I now have the reindeer themselves put in here. All the rest of this fabric is going to be nothing but antler and snowflakes and stars. And I am stitching this with B5200 Floche. I like the way Floche lays, especially in white on a dark fabric for a 40 count, because it's about 1 3/4 width of a single strand of cotton floss. So it does good. So Rollo, coming along. All right, what else do I have? I have a newer start, which is Starry Owl by the Blue Flower. It's being stitched on 40 count Witch's Brew by XjuDesigns, using some of the called for. And that's about the color right there. And it's pretty. The colors are pretty. I'm looking forward to getting this done, hopefully by next Halloween. The next thing I have in the whip pile is another Blue Flower. This is also a start since you last saw me. This is Seasons of the Heart of the Mountains, the Rocky Mountains. And I am stitching this on 40 count River Rock by Forbidden Fiber, using some of the called for, mainly conversions out of my closet. I got the goat in finally on the mountains, and it's coming along pretty well. There's a lot more stitching in here than it looks like, so it's going to take a little longer than I had planned on. And again, using a lot of the things right out of my closet. All right, the next beast is the Griffins of the Kingdom by Rosewood Manor, 3 beasties. And I made some selections on the metallics. The orange metallic I'm going to do in a deep navy treasure braid. And the gold, the bright gold, I'm going to tone down to a kind of old gold. So, made choices on that, and that's great because literally all that's left is the metallics. Because here's the beasties. This is stitched on 46 count cream. I have the rest of this beast down here, and then a couple more in here, and then everything is just metallics at that point. This beastie, not so wee. Not so wee. That was a lot of stitching. Yeah. So there we go. That's just 310 floss, 1 strand over 2. Next up is a brand new start, and by brand new start I mean this week, and it is on Winter Woods Biscornu, which is a blue flower Jingle Ball class. I was lucky enough to score a kit, and of course the kit came with all of the called for and a few DMCs with this as well. And there's a lot to this. There's a lot to this, not gonna lie. I'm used to stitching Biscornus that are about 60, maybe 70 stitches, complete stitches around. This one is 120 something on each side, and it's huge. So I started the outline on this side. There we go. And this is still not the entire length of one side. So this is going to be a huge, world's largest Biscornu, at least the largest Biscornu in my house. This is on 32 count fiber on a Whim Pistachio, which came with the kit. And it certainly will not be done by the Jingle Ball the first weekend in December. All right, that's what I have. I'm up to retreat. I went to a Lois from Lady Dot Creates and Janine McGowan Blue Flower Stitching retreat in the beautiful Stitch Finishing School, number 2, where we all learned how to make drums. And this was, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's in Wisconsin, but it's almost like a suburb of Chicago. I flew in and out of it, O'Hare, and it was an hour's drive, a little northwest from there. And it was probably wouldn't have even taken an hour to get there if it hadn't have been for the traffic just trying to get out of the Chicago area. So it didn't take long to get there at all. And the premise of the school, finishing school, was to learn how to finish a drum and a Biscornu. And Lois taught us how to do drum finishing. You can see drumming, easy and painless. Not true. For her, maybe. Easy and painless. And the first day we were there, we made a drum. You can see that my drum, not easy, not painless. It's kind of cattywampus. Leans a little, not... I'm going to blame it on having to pack this sucker in the suitcase on the carry-on only to get it back. Anyways, my drum did not turn out oh so well. She did give us trim to put around the top and the bottom, but the reality is I wasn't going to sew it on. If I'm going to use it at all, I will go in and glue it on at some point, and I really haven't figured out what I'm going to do with the drum yet. It's literally Frankenstein together. But this was day 1. Day 2, Janine gave us a drum pattern to stitch and then finish. Let me find... And it is called Trunktown Autumn. Trunktown Autumn is the name of the pattern. And it's got all of these critters that you make into a drum. And I started it, it's actually stitching up a lot quicker than expected. So I got the little fox, I've got the bird in there, some flowers, and it goes all the way around. That's the other end where the two will come together. And this is, it's going to be like the Biscornu, this is going to be world's largest drum. And I'm going to have to find somebody that can finish it for me, given my challenges with drum finishing. This is 32 count, dark mountain linen from XjuDesigns, and that's about the right color there. Of course, the kit came with all of the called for flosses, along with Janine went on Spoonflower and had some velveteen in a tree trunk made for finishing the top and the bottom, so it looks like a cut log. And then Putini made some kit-specific pins. In addition, Janine gave us a little kit that we could work on there, which was a little pin keep with felt leaf and, of course, some wool finishing. And those turned out cute. Those were easy to do, and that I did not find as challenging as the drum itself. And because she didn't want to cart it all home, she gave everybody extras. And I'm thinking about using these extra for tops on strawberries. I think they would be great as a top on a strawberry. I think that'll work. Smaller strawberry, bigger strawberry. At the retreat, I won a fat quarter of 40 count Autumn Harvest by number 12 stitch count as a door prize. It's fantastic. It's a little lighter than the wall, but it's a really pretty fallish kind of color. It's not overly modeled at all. There's just very subtle variations. And so it would be great fabric for something autumny. We also learned how to put together a Biscornu, which wasn't as challenging as the drum because I have some experience with that. And they kept giving us stuff. Kept giving us stuff. Lois gave us some thread drops. We got all sorts of like stickers and notepads and project bags and you name it. Janine McGowan on the third day, there's my Biscornu stuff, did another class on specialty stitches at the end of the day. And then at the end of all of it, even with my challenge drum, I got a certificate of completion. Yeah. So everybody got that. This was the second. This was finishing school number 2. 1.0 was last year, and they have 3.0 with Lois coming up October of 2026 as well, if anybody's interested in attending. It's easy in and out of Chicago if you need to fly, or a lot of individuals at the retreat had driven in from the area surrounding. So, yeah. Easy and painless. So that's my retreat stuffs. So when I was there, the beautiful Sip and Stitchery, I've ordered several things from them in the past on their website, and they have literally world's fastest shipping. World's fastest, it's like they drive it to Joplin overnight and drop it in my mailbox. And they carry a very large stock, probably one of the largest stockists in the United States, of cottage garden threads. So if you're looking for some cottage garden threads from Australia, they have a robust selection, and they get it to you pretty quickly, along with a lot of other harder to find, more international thread dyers and fabric dyers and all sorts of things. So we went to the shop, and it was absolutely amazing. Their fabric room was, I want to say, at least 600, 700 square feet. It was huge, and it was just clothing rack after clothing rack after clothing rack that all of these fabrics were hanging from. And they had types of fabric I had never even heard of before. And again, they had very hard to find dyers, especially in the United States, especially now. And so I picked up some fabrics while I was there, because of course I could. And this is 40 count linen dark chocolate by XjuDesigns. And this is a very unmodeled XjuDesigns, and it's a beautiful light chocolate brown. I wouldn't even call this dark chocolate. I would call this more of a milk chocolate. It's a really pretty color. Very little modeling. And then I picked up Hometown Fibers. I'd not heard of them before. And this is a 46 count linen in frost. And that's true to color right there. In frost. And it too has very subtle modeling on it. And then I picked up a 56 count in, this is also Hometown Fibers, in Anna. Which is a very pale yellow. It's reading more like ecru on the screen, but it's really more of a pale yellow than a true ecru. Additionally, I really do need an intervention. I found on a D-stash site, vendor called Mo Silk was putting out some discounted hanks of floss. And so I purchased some, and I really liked them. And so I got involved on their Facebook site, and yeah, I may or may not have quite a few hanks of silk at the moment. These are all Mo's silks. They're all soy. Hanks of silk, they're 120 yards. They're $20 each. I have some that are already prepped and ready to go and be used, and some that are not. And then, because I can, I picked up some of the colors I would not use 120 yards of. They're kind of specialty colors to add in here and there. And so these are the 17.8 yards of silk. And so, yeah, that blue is absolutely gorgeous. I am also taking at the Jingle Ball the Annie B's Pear class. And I'm just doing all of it out of stash. I have a 40 count red, very slightly modeled with a little bit of purple hint in it, called Joy Lynn, and it's 40 count from Atomic Ranch that I've had in the bad project closet for quite a bit of time. And I've also had for several years this hank of Silks for You, and this is PR 053. And so I'm going to stitch it in that. And I actually have a chance of getting a pair finished, stitched by the Jingle Ball class, where I have no hope at all for that Biscornu. I know Amy of the Ozark Stitches had asked to see some of the things maybe that I had stitched in the past that hadn't been out in a while. And since I'm sitting here in the dining room and I have my bowl here with all of the autumn stuff out, and just walk you through. This is the Lindy Stitches. This is out of a spooky book. This is Blackbird Pie that I did a few years ago. This is Doreen Jones, Crow Pendibule I had done a while ago with the beaded edge. My new cat got a hold of the tassel a couple nights ago. It's going to learn to make better choices. I have, this is Meridian Stitches. I don't remember the name of the pattern, but it is also an autumn-based Biscornu. This is a Pagoda Biscornu, and with the squirrels. Lots of beads on this as well, on the bottom. Really cute. I have my Plum Street raccoons. I have my autumn berries from Erica Michaels. I still have my Halloween berry out from Erica Michaels. I have Fox View out from Plum Street. And I still have my Satsuma Street bat and crow on my Halloween tree. So I can probably put those away today with my Halloween berry. But that's it. Oh, and my first thing that I started stitching again when I started stitching again is my Plague Doctor. This is by Buzz Design. Busby Design. Yeah. Stitched this during the pandemic. It was great. Wool on the back. Nothing fancy. Anyways, that's all I have. Until next time, Flosstube. Great talking to you today. Thanks for stopping by.